Hello everybody. I gotta start off by saying that Mars, excuse me, Mars is not a place. Mars is an evil spirit, taking the form like that to defile mankind. Now this is something I didn't know until just very recently. But NASA's budget, I gotta type it in because I did not have as much time as I wanted. NASA's budget 2021. What does it say? Wow. $25.2 billion. The single largest increase of $3.37 billion in 2021 is dedicated to crewed lunar landing system. Artemis. What do you know? They pick another false god to name their mission after. Apollo, then Artemis. So, anyway, you guys are going to love this. Because this is like, I don't even know what words to use to describe how good this is. We're going to watch a video, and then we'll talk about it probably a whole bunch. Let me just make sure that everything's working. Good guy Jeff and Allie Lyons and Roderick. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Okay, I'm just checking one more thing. And yes, that looks like it's working. Okay, let's listen to this guy. And it's about, I don't know how long it is. Let's see. It's a 4-minute video. Hey, Don Pratt and Michael J. Spencer. It's a 4-minute video, and I'm going to do my best to, actually, I'm not going to pause it or butt in the middle. We'll watch the whole thing, and then we'll probably go back and watch other parts. So I'm going to just slide on over here and go like this and hit the play button. Whoops, if I can find it. Okay, here we go.
The 2021 budget also strongly supports planetary science, including providing funds to study the celestial bodies around us like never before. The Mars 2020 rover is a very exciting mission that I anticipate also will rewrite textbooks. This summer we will launch this rover as part of our next generation robotic explorations. This mission will not only look for signs of habitable conditions on Mars in the ancient past, but also search for signs of past microbial life itself, and include, and I love this part, and include the first ever helicopter to fly on another world. Mars 2020 will also test methods for producing oxygen from the Martian atmosphere for the first time and identify resources on the surface that could support our future astronauts' long-term missions. Furthermore, the Mars 2020 rover will initiate a long-sought-after mission of returning Martian rocks and soil to the Earth for further study. Let's go to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab to hear more about this pioneering mission.
Hi, I'm Raquel Villanueva here at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Now, it's been a dream of scientists for generations to bring back samples from the surface of Mars. And right now, the Mars 2020 rover mission is laying the groundwork. And that's why I'm in the In Situ Instrument Laboratory with Jessica Samuels. And she's here to tell us what's going on here.
Well, we use this facility to develop and design our hardware and software systems for our Mars mission.
And how does the sampling system work?
So we have a drill on the end of our robotic arm, and as we are drilling the surface of Mars, we will be collecting pieces of Mars into the sample tube at that time. We'll then transfer that sample tube into the inside of the rover and then seal it for storage as we continue to explore the surface. After we've collected a diverse set of samples, we will drop them off onto the surface and then have them there for our future sample return mission to continue.
Well, I know you have some tests to keep doing, and I'm actually going to go check out the next phase at a different lab. We're in a testing lab affectionately known as the Sandbox, and I'm here with Austin Nicholas. Now, can you explain how we are going to bring back samples from Mars?
So starting from after 2020 has deposited tubes on the surface, there are 2 more missions to go in bringing the tubes back to Earth. The first is a lander mission. It carries 3 major elements: a sample fetch rover and a sample transfer arm that lets you transfer the samples from the fetch rover into the rocket, and a Mars ascent vehicle, which is a rocket that brings the samples from Mars into space. Meanwhile, the orbiter has also launched from Earth in 2026 and is making its way towards Mars, and it'll be in position by the time the rocket's fully loaded. The orbiter will then go to the sample container that the rockets put into space and then capture it, ultimately bringing them to Earth in 2031.
That sounds complicated.
It is complicated, but fortunately we're not doing it alone. So we have a great partnership with the European Space Agency, and they're providing some major pieces of this mission. Within NASA, we've actually got a number of centers working on all of the different pieces. So we're partnering with Marshall Space Flight Center for the Mars Ascent Vehicle, Langley and Ames for the Earth Entry Vehicle, Glenn for the Sample Fetch Rover wheels, and we're partnering with Goddard for the orbiter payload. And so there's really it's a whole NASA effort to get Mars sample return done.
Sounds like there is a lot of work to be done, but this all kicks off with the launch of Mars 2020 this summer in Cape Canaveral, Florida. And there's lots of excitement here as we get ready to make history.
The Mars sample return mission is a high priority not only for the scientific knowledge it will provide, but also the opportunity it presents to tackle a difficult technological challenge. Remember, Mars 2020 is going to have the first Mars helicopter. The Mars sample return will include the first ever rocket launched from another planet.
Wow. Hope you guys could hear that okay. So, I'm not sure if you caught how many missions and all that they're doing here to get samples of Mars. Now, whoops. Hi guys. Okay. I'm gonna try to say this with a straight face. How do you know that anything's going to Mars, Jim Bridenstine? A serious question. Your evidence for a whole planet and all of these imagination, you're using your imagination, that's for sure. Did you guys see that? I'll probably play this animation in the background because I just have okay. Let's review the mission, how the mission's gonna go. And first of all, I wanted to do something really quick. I'll do it while I'm playing a video in a few minutes. I want to figure out how much NASA is getting every day of the year, because it's a lot. Yes, 666. Good guy Jeff says 666 samples needed. Did I miss something in the video? Maybe I missed something in the video. Wow, it's crazy. Okay, so we're gonna go to about 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna mute this and play it. Okay, so they're gonna drill some holes in the ground. Brilliant. And they're going to, this is just makes no sense. Thank you, good guy Jeff. I will look at that again. Maybe I should be playing the sound. Okay, so they're gonna just throw the samples in these little sealed containers. They're just gonna throw them on the ground. Yes, Alley Lions, Johnny 5 is alive and upgraded. I like that. That's a good one. Okay, so we're gonna have to probably listen to this again. 666. Did I really miss that? Was that Jim Bridenstine that said that, or was that during the kind of like that woman talking about it? Wow, that's crazy. Let me turn the audio on for a minute. Oh, you're guessing 666 is other than okay. Okay, so they're going to drill holes with this rover, so you can see them drilling the holes, and then they're going to take some dirt and they're going to put it in this spinning thing, and see they're putting it in little sealed things. Now watch. Just throw them out on the ground and keep exploring. Now, at this time, they will have already sent another mission on its way to Mars. So that mission will come and land, precisely where these samples are dropped off. It's going to pick up the samples, place them in a rocket, and blast the rocket off of the surface. And then, I'm trying to say this as the animation goes. So they're going to blast the rocket off from the surface. Now watch this. Just watch what happens. It's going to spit them out, into space, and another mission that they've already sent is going to catch them with its mouth. Oh, and that's not all. It's going to shoot them at Earth. I'm not kidding. This is real. This is science. Science. So I do have a question for any of these people that believe this stuff. You think you know your world so well, and I feel bad that you think this way, but so they're going to come to the Earth, and then wow, we're going to have samples of Mars. It's only going to cost like, I don't know, 8, 10, 14 billion dollars, whatever it ends up being. I have a problem with this. So my question to people like Jim Bridenstine, people that actually have access and authority over these $25.2 billion. How many people could we feed with $25.2 billion? Well, wait a minute. What is that? About $4 a person for everybody that's alive in this world. Something like that. I'm just ballparking it. So they're going to spend everybody in the world. I'm just saying that to make the numbers somewhat realistically understandable. Everybody take a $5 bill out of your wallet. Everyone. Infants, grandma, everybody. Take a $5 bill out of your wallet, throw it at NASA, and guess what they're going to give you? Well, they ain't going to give you nothing, but they're going to get data, and that's it. So I got to say this. These people don't believe in God. They think God has left his throne. They think he has abandoned his post, his tabernacle. And so they think they can climb up there. And I did this in a recent video, the book of Jasher chapter 9 and Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel, King Nimrod, oh man, I just don't even know what to say about these misled people. See, now this is where I really want to stress something that always comes up anytime I'm talking to anyone that's a believer, is that they think that this stuff NASA's doing is not real. They think that it is how do you say it? That NASA's lying. They think that NASA's deceiving people in the world to think that they're going to Mars. But I have to warn you, Christians. You don't struggle against flesh and blood, even if you think you do. your enemy is the person deceiving you is not a human being. So it's a tricky situation because 2 years ago I said I thought there was people at NASA conspiring against the human race, but that's not what's happening at all. Hey, Anthony Dickinson, good to see you. That's not what's happening. And I'm gonna get my Bible out because people always say that I have an interpretation, but no, I just read the Bible and believe it. And like Paul is a really important is a very important testimony. All the things that Paul wrote, because he knew a mystery. He had wisdom. He was given wisdom by the revelation of Jesus Christ. And something that he wrote to the Ephesians, in Ephesians 6, you guys probably all know this verse. Because, we're going to actually, maybe I should do a screen share and look it up. Yeah, I think I will. Let me go to, let's see, hopefully I do this right. Okay, that should show the desktop. Let's go to Bible Hub and search something out. Let's search it out. We're going to look up the Greek of Ephesians 6:12, and we're going to see what Paul wrote to the Ephesians and see what see who believes and see who doesn't believe. Sorry, it's taking my internet always takes a while when I'm streaming, like a long while. It says not responding. I hate that. It happens. So I'm hoping that my stream keeps going. There we go. I'm sure it is. Well, I'm not sure, but oh, what happened? Okay, so we're gonna go to Ephesians. We're going to go to chapter 6. And we're going to go to the Greek. And we're going to go to verse 12. Okay. Because this is very important. Paul wouldn't have wrote this. And it's not just Paul. There's Peter kind of seemed to say some of the similar things. Enoch certainly said very similar things. Okay, so we're going to be looking right here where my mouse is at the English, and we're just going to read it in the order that they have it word by word here. So it's kind of like a little bit screwy of sentences, but these are the words that were used. So we want to know what Paul actually wrote without so much translation into 2020 or whatever. Let's just get it right from Paul. So it says, because not is to us the wrestling against blood and flesh, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of the darkness. This against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. So I probably should have done I probably should go back a page. Actually, let me just duplicate this page, and sorry guys, I'm gonna go back there, and now I'm just going to look it up in the KJV. Oh boy, it's gonna do this thing again. Okay, I'm just gonna read it out of the KJV. The sad thing is that I can probably just quote it. Okay, here we go. I hope you guys are seeing my screen. Okay, it looks like you are. I have a visitor here. Cupcakes here again. Okay, sorry guys. KJV. And that should give us... Okay. So I'm just going to read the verse in the King James. version, and it's, sorry. Okay, right here, middle of the page. Okay. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So we need to talk about the darkness of this world. Where's the darkness of this world? It's obvious where the darkness of this world. It's really obvious at nighttime. Really obvious. So up above us, and I guess you could say around us, not around us, but around us, like all the way outside of the earth, or some people would say that there's an ice wall or some sort of boundary. Let's go to Job 38 really quick and just double check. See what God said about the oceans and how this was all laid out. Because if we understand how the earth really is, I'm saying how this realm is, and then if we start to understand the realm above the earth, it's tricky stuff. There's a lot of things up there. There's both good and evil up there. And the Most High is at the top of heaven, basically. So let me read a couple verses here. I gotta find it. Okay, let's just start. I think we'll just start in verse 8. Or who shut up the sea with doors when it brake forth as if it had issued out of the womb? And that wasn't the verse I was looking for. There's one where it says about proud waves halting or stopping. Okay, this is an interesting verse here. Verse 19, where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? Where is the darkness? Okay, I don't remember which verse this is. It is, I'm just scrolling down. Sorry, guys. I think I went past it. Okay. I like this verse, verse 30. The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. So the face of the deep is frozen. And we know from Genesis 1 verse 2 that there was darkness upon the face of the deep. So it's frozen, and there's darkness upon it. Still looking for this verse. Wow. Oh, it's verse 11. Sorry. I'll start in 10. And break up, for it is my decreed place, and set bars and doors. What does decreed mean? Does that just mean, I don't know what that word means. Order by decree. Okay, like an ordinance, like a law, I'm guessing. Order, command, rule, dictate. Okay. Thank you for for sticking around while I learn some vocabulary. And break it up for my decreed place, and set bars and doors. So the Lord sets the limits of the earth. He sets okay. Verse 11, and said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall thy proud waves be stayed. So there is a place. I probably should have read verses 8 and 9. I kind of started, I think I read that, but he's talking about shutting up the sea with doors. And then it says, when I made a cloud, When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it, and break up for it my decreed place. Now, okay, I know what this is talking about now. I know what it is, and you guys will understand what I'm talking about too, or what he's talking about. Okay, we got to go back here so I don't lose my train of thought. Okay. This place, where is that? Okay, and break it up for my decreed place, and set bars and doors. This decreed place is the Lord's. This is his secret place. And Psalm 18 verse 9 through 11. I'm going to read those verses. Let's see. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. So there's darkness, and then the Lord's feet here. So his throne's sitting on above that darkness, basically. And he rode upon, it's not responding. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly, yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Now when we go to Job 8, it kind of says the same thing. It says, when I made... Oh, I can't do that highlighting thing anymore. You guys will just have to watch my mouse. When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it. So we just read... He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. So we can understand a little bit more about, I don't know why I'm talking about the boundaries of, because I was talking about outer darkness. We live on the earth, and no, it's not a sphere. It's not a ball. If it was a ball, you'd know it was a ball. And there wouldn't be millions of flat earthers telling you it's not a ball with their sweet optics in hand that you haven't considered. Now, the reason why a lot of people have a hard time with flat earth is because they're not understanding something about God. And I just want to read one verse in Isaiah 48, and it'll kind of explain what I mean. The Word of God is alive today, and that's important. Isaiah 48, verse 5 and 6. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee, before it came to pass, I showed it thee. Lest thou shouldst say, mine idol hath done them, and my graven image and my molten image hath commanded them. Ding, 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 Big Bang. Thou hast heard, this is verse 6, thou hast heard, see all this, and will ye not declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. Verse 7. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them. Verse 8. Yea, thou heardest not, yea, thou knewest not. Yea, from that time that thine ear was not opened, for I knew that thou wouldst deal very treacherously, and was a transgressor from the womb. Okay, I'm saying that he's showing us new things that we did not know. And if you can consider that God is alive, Jesus is flying with the clouds of heaven, and the things that I've been learning, there's angels flying around. giving knowledge to people that have faith. And I could break that all down, how they do it even. And I'm not saying it's like you can see them or something. I'm just saying that they're preaching a gospel to this world, the angels and Jesus. They've revealed something to a small number of people, and those small number of people have a very, very loud voice, and you're hearing their voice. Everyone in the world soon will hear their voice. And when that happens, people have a choice to make. Either you receive the love of the truth. I'm going to read this verse again. Verse 5, Isaiah 48, verse 5. Verse 6, thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? I've showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. So what I'm trying to say is, don't think flat earth is ridiculous, because first of all, there's a lot of people that say, I don't understand. Actually, there was someone on Facebook, and I still have yet to make a comment back because I had a busy day. But my post was something like, I'm a flat earther, and then I said the globe is a trick Satan's playing on you, or something like that. Or a joke Satan's playing on you. And someone commented that they couldn't grasp how, I don't remember exactly how they worded it, but they couldn't grasp how they were being deceived, or how how the globe would be a deception. And I can understand that, because they might look in the Bible and they might say, I don't think it's like very clear that it's a flat earth. So then let's get rid of the words flat earth, because that doesn't really matter. Let's say this. Do you believe that heaven is above the earth? Because that's what the Bible says. And do you believe that the heavens turn in a circle above the earth? Or do you believe that the earth is turning? Because the Bible says the earth is immovable and stationary. So this is what I'm trying to say, is that even small things can mislead us if we believe a lie that's a small lie, or it's seemingly small. Our understanding of even the place that we spend our whole life can deceive us, or we can be deceived about it. And this is how Satan has been hiding God in these, and now Jesus said, I can probably do it right on here. Sorry, guys. Jesus said in Matthew 24, verse 14, he said, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached unto all nations as a witness, and then shall the end come. Something like that. I might have screwed it up. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Now, what gospel? We can look in Revelation 14, and we can see that an angel was flying, preaching. He had a gospel to preach, the everlasting gospel, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. And why did they need a gospel preached to them? Because they believed a lie, and they didn't believe the gospel. So that's where we are now. Now let me read verse 15 in Matthew 24, and I want to try to explain something. I mean, might not be able to explain it very well, but I'm going to try. This is Jesus telling his disciples what to look for the sign of his coming or his return. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. And that's really all I want to read. He tells them to do. He says, flee into the mountains. Don't take anything out of your house. I think he's saying, be ready. But people don't understand what this means. Stand in the holy place. What does that mean? I just want to check the chat and make sure that everything's still working. Seems to be. Hopefully everything is good to go. It's probably going to have to... It's catching up. Hey, Chris A., I see you in there. I already said all you other guys and gals. Sorry. When I say guys, usually I mean everybody. But I don't mean like that. Good evening, Chris. Thank you for stopping in. And okay, so what is standing in the holy place, you guys? Let me I'm reading Anthony's comment here because they are trying. Whoops. Yeah. Ooh, you just remind me of a good passage to read. Let's look at Ezekiel 7. I think it's Ezekiel 7. It might be Ezekiel 8, but because Anthony just said, sorry, I got to go back there and read it. Flat Earth is so difficult for people to understand because they are trying to put a heliocentric view of a flat Earth. We have to kill that heliocentric wizard first, brother. That's such a good point, Anthony. People often here's a good example of that, Anthony. Where's the edge? Show me a picture of the edge. I don't think anybody said there was an edge. I think there's what did it say? For the proud waves to halt, there's boundaries. What was that in verse 11? And said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further. And here shall thy proud waves be stayed. So there's something stopping the waves. And we do know that there's an ice wall, like a very tall wall of ice in much of the southern part of the world. And basically, Earth's not a spinning ball in space, and neither is flat Earth. Flat Earth isn't in space. The idea of space is, and that's what I was kind of trying to go over with when we're talking about darkness. Darkness. So there was darkness upon the face of the deep. Where was that? That was in Job 38. It said, the face of the deep is frozen, it said. Where was that? I don't remember where that... Oh, right here. Verse 30. The waters are hid as with a stone. See, look at that. As with a stone. That reminds me of Rick Hummer. He told me something. Maybe you guys have heard about this, maybe not. He told me something really interesting. And it really makes you think. Minerals. Water has iron in it and calcium and all these things. I'm no professional whatever elements guy or something. It just makes me think, if there was just a massive amount of water and you let's say filtered it, if you filtered the water and you would have a filter, it would get dirty, or not dirty necessarily, but it would get filled with those minerals. And what would happen if you separated, or let me go to Genesis 1, because it's really interesting what Rick Hummer says. I talked to him on the phone briefly in the last week, and I still was supposed to call him back, but I never did. But I'm going to, because he's got some good insight on some of these things. Very interesting thing he brings up, and it even he even brought up the deepest we've drilled into the earth. I forgot what it something borehole. I don't remember what it was, but okay. So, which verse is here? Okay, yeah, this is just interesting. Okay, we know there's waters above. There's waters everywhere. And God made the firmament. I'll just read it. Verse 7, or verse 6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Simple. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. So, in the midst of the firmament, in the midst of the waters, he made a firmament and divided what was up here and what was down here of the waters. He separated them or divided them. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. That's very interesting to me. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. So there is seas above and seas on the earth. Waters above, waters on the earth. Above the firmament. So again, back to the spinning ball in space, that's not in the Bible. There's a place of darkness, and I believe that is the firmament, or either it's the firmament, the darkness. The stars and sun and moon are in it. Okay? It's what we call space today in our modern language. So when Jim Bridenstine and NASA get their $25.2 billion to waste on unimportant and actually the things that are going to destroy the earth, when they waste their money on that, waste all this money on that, $25.2 billion, what do they get back? So they send something into that darkness, and remember we were in Ephesians, we're going to go there again. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, like we don't wrestle, I'm flesh and blood, you're flesh and blood. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Do you guys want to know who the rulers of the ruler of the darkness of this world is? Whoops. SpaceX Dragon. This is the ruler of the darkness of this world. And you know what's interesting is in Revelation 12, John called Satan a dragon. So, Dragon is a free-flying spacecraft designed to deliver both cargo and people to orbiting destinations. In the darkness, guys. It is the only spacecraft currently flying that is capable of returning significant amounts of cargo to Earth. So there's one thing that it's the only one that can do it. Currently, Dragon carries cargo to space, but it was designed from the beginning to carry humans. 7 humans, by the way. The first demonstration flight was under NASA's Commercial Crew Program, launched on March 2nd, 2019, up into that darkness. So this capsule that you see spinning around here with the Dragon trunk on it, that has already been up in that darkness, just so everyone knows. That they launched that as a demonstration launch, basically for testing before they put people in it, on March 2nd, 2019. Becoming the first American spacecraft in history to autonomously dock with the International Space Station. Now, let me just connect a few dots. There's a beast in Revelation 13, and it gets its power from a dragon. It gets its authority from a dragon. It gets its strength from a dragon. Okay? This capsule, well, actually, it's not this capsule. It's the one right here in this picture. This is the cargo and resupply capsule that they built 10 of. There's 10 of these. Well, there's 9. One blew up. 10 horns, guys. Seven people ride in this one. This is Dragon 2. Okay, let's read about it. The Dragon spacecraft is capable of carrying up to 7 passengers to and from Earth orbit and beyond. Beyond into that darkness, guys. This is the ruler of the darkness of this world. And it's interesting because the prophets knew this. Revelation 12. John saw this. John saw this happening. Now, you're going to get this. I'm showing you some images really quick. Let's just look at the images that we get. And oh boy. I don't even think that's weird. I think for some reason I'm not even on the right account or something. I think it was just my personal account. Okay, see all these pictures. This is important, you guys. Okay. People every day tell me it's symbolic. His vision was symbolic. No, it wasn't. Even these people are all drawing these pictures of a dragon flying around. Look at this on a globe. Oh, man. Okay, look at this one. See this dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and all this? Do you guys really think that this is what John saw? A woman standing with the moon. Yeah. Okay, the people that make these, they can understand one part of it. They can see they're all on a globe here, but they understand that it's up in heaven that John was looking for this sign. This is kind of just a side note, but see all these horrible paintings and cartoons of lions with all these things. Okay, now this is something realistic that we did see. We saw the moon here and the sun here and all these stars lined up, and we saw this what I believe John saw. We saw that on September 23rd, 2013. Let's see. Let's just click on Revelation 12 sign. Look at that. It's 23rd September 2017. How many results? I don't even know where it says that. Okay, so there's definitely knowledge in this world of this day. Okay. September 23rd, 2017. Now, the next thing John says, let's okay, I gotta go to the Bible now. Okay. My computer is slow and it kind of makes it so I press the wrong button sometimes. Sorry. Actually, let's go to Bible Hub. Oh boy. Okay. Oops. Oh, there's it right down there. Nice. Okay. So John, in verse 1 and 2, he sees that September 23rd, 2017 thing. Now look at verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads. Remember this? The Dragon spacecraft is capable of carrying up to 7 passengers. Okay? That's not a coincidence, you guys. That's just how many Dragon capsules carry. But the significant part is that John knew that 2,000 years ago. And he wrote it down in a book that we have a copy of. And that's not all. Because, like I was telling you, they built 10 of this Dragon 1 capsule that couldn't carry astronauts, but it could go up to the space station and give all the supplies and all the experiments and science and all the things that they're doing. This is one of the capsules that brings it up there. This is the main one. There's orbital ATK, or I think they go by a different name now. But the Cygnus spacecraft, I'll show you that one. Ezra saw this in Second Esdras. He names how many missions that each of these capsules were contracted for initially. Ezra does in Second Esdras, chapters 11 and 12. Dragon was contracted 12 missions. This is the first contract. And Cygnus was contracted 8. And actually, why don't I just go and show you that? So Second Esdras, I'm just going to click on here, make it less typing. I think it's in 11. Whoops. Let's just go look at this really quick. Okay, so on the second night I had a dream. I saw an eagle with 12 feathered wings and 3 heads rising up from the sea. Okay, and out of its wings grew opposing wings. And I don't remember which. Oh boy. My computer doesn't like it when I try to open so many things. It says right down here. Oh, right in verse 11. I don't know if you can still see that on my screen. But in verse 11 it says, I counted its opposing wing. Oh boy. Okay. I counted its opposing wings, and there were 8 of them. So it had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And 8 opposing wings. Okay? Now we got to go to CRS. Oh, I don't know if did it work? Okay. CRS1, I think I did that right. Yeah, commercial resupply services. What I'm trying to point out is that the prophets saw all this in detail. Okay. Commercial resupply services are a series of flights awarded by NASA for the delivery of cargo and supplies to the International Space Station. Let me read something here. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I could go to other places where it says... Sorry. Okay. I don't know where. It's in another chapter, in Revelation 17. It says, in verse 16, it says, And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that isn't the verse I was looking for. Oh, it's verse 13. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Okay? Cygnus and Dragon. Now, Dragon is the one... Cygnus hasn't amounted to anything. They've had nothing but failure. Because Dragon gives its power to the beast. Okay? The SpaceX Dragon has completed, I think, 23... or 22, maybe more. But yeah, let me just finish reading this. Remember, in Second Esdras, I'm gonna go over this again since I kind of screwed up. 12 feathered wings, and then I counted its opposing wings, and there were 8 of them. I'll start reading this again. Okay. For the delivery of cargo and supplies to the International Space Station on commercially operated spacecraft. The first CRS contracts were signed in 2008 and awarded $1.6 billion to SpaceX for 12 Cargo Dragon and $1.9 billion to Orbital for 8 Cygnus flights. So what I'm trying to say is you can learn about the space exploration in the Bible from the prophets. But nobody hardly recognizes this or believes it. I point it out to many people, and they say, oh, I don't know about that. Fine. Okay. But the whole story has to do with this guy right here. So I'm going to continue reading a little bit on here. The pressurized section of the capsule is designed to carry both people and environmentally sensitive cargo. Towards the base of the capsule and contained within the nose cone are Draco thrusters, which allow for orbital maneuvering. Okay. There's the inside of it. The interior. The suit. What a joke. Okay, now, what is it sitting on? It's sitting on a Falcon 9 vehicle, a launch vehicle. It says Falcon 9 launch vehicle with the Crew Dragon spacecraft in preparation for that March, what was it, March 2nd? I don't remember. Yeah, March 2nd, 2019 demo launch under NASA's Commercial Crew Program. Okay. First Dragon reflight. This is how I know that there's 10 horns. On June 13th, 2017, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket successfully launched a Dragon spacecraft for the company's 11th commercial resupply services mission to the International Space Station. This mission marked the first reflight of a Dragon spacecraft, having previously flown on the fourth blah 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 in 2014. Okay. Because they only made 10. They made 10 of them. So when it came for the 11th mission, they just reused one of the first 10. Because they were only planning on building 10 because they were building the Dragon 2. Or they were switching over all their machines and equipment and however they do it over to building this newer one that can carry astronauts. Well, I want to just go back. Okay. To right here. Or where was it? Okay, wrong page, Joe. I had to go up to the top. Okay. Falcon 9. This right here. John saw this and described it. Okay. I wonder if they have a video here. I don't think they do. Or yeah, we'll probably end up watching this video. The Falcon has landed, drone ship landing. Okay, we'll probably end up watching one of those. But let me read about the. Let's see. I don't really have to read about it. We'll start at the top. Falcon 9 is a 2-stage rocket designed and manufactured by SpaceX for the reliable and safe transport of satellites and the Dragon spacecraft into orbit. Let me read a verse. This is John's testimony of what he visually saw in his vision with his eyes. He beheld it, okay? Verse 11 in chapter 13 of Revelation. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, this next verse is Revelation 13, verse 13. I'm going to read it while we watch. Or maybe, I don't know if it's a video or not. It is a video. Is it a video? And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Did you guys hear that? John just described this rocket launching, coming up out of the earth, speaking like a dragon, and then coming back down and landing using fire. That's precisely what it does. I'm going to check the chat really quick. Are you guys catching what? Are you guys, I'm sure that, Scott Manley.
Hello, it's Scott Manley here. Now, as of this morning,
Sorry,
the
guys.
Dragon spacecraft launched by CRS-16 has reached the space station, being captured and is being burned.
I guess we're going to listen to Scott Manley for a minute. He's like the rocket guy. I'll show his channel here. He's got 1 million subscribers. That's funny, his 0.01 is like 8,000 more subscribers than I even have. I think. Yeah, something like that. But obviously he's deceived by these things, and just like the world is. I doubt you'd ever get through to him. I've tried on his, he's got 1 million subscribers. Guy probably never sees comments that I put down there. Now this guy here, Space Eccentric, whoops, I'm just showing you his channel, Space Eccentric. This guy, I like this guy. He's like he was a school teacher guy for a while. I can't even, his name's Kevin. And Kevin did a presentation once with Scott Manley, or at the same time as Scott Manley, or same place or whatever. This was probably about 4 months ago. And he did a presentation just kind of explaining some of these things. And at the end of his presentation, maybe I should find that. I just want to show you guys something, because this, I really want to get through to this Kevin guy. I really do. And I've left comments and try, but again, he's got, look at his videos, got 555,000 views. It's probably hard for him to keep up on the comments. But okay, I'm kind of switching directions because I just want to show you guys something, and I'm going to have to go to his...
What could you do with a metal 3D printer? Introducing the
We're going to his channel. And let's see if I just want to... Because this guy said something that touched my heart. He did. He's got 93,000 subscribers. Okay. Oh, good. It's got a little info on him here. The Space Eccentric is the original YouTube source dedicated to disseminating the latest SpaceX news and information. Whether it's the latest intel on Elon Musk or... Okay, let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Before becoming a full-time YouTuber, Kevin Hemeyer taught high school and middle school science courses for 3 years, including STEM, earth science, physical science, anatomy and physiology, biology, chem lab, and life science. Kevin is a paramotoring aviator, which is very cool. I wish I had a paramotor. That would be awesome. A veteran, a former White House intern. He has a wife, 2 German Shepherds, and an unhealthy love for space exploration. Okay. I'm not trying to, say much about Kevin. I just want to show you something that he said. It's worth me finding it. He did a presentation. Where would this be? I think it's somewhere here. I'd go subscribe to this channel. He's a really nice guy, and he's funny. His videos are really funny, and yeah. And he's not a deceiver. If we're going to talk about that, he's being deceived. There's a big difference. Now, let's see. Maybe I should have just tried to search for this, because I don't know how many videos he's got. I'm just kind of skimming, but I'll find it here in a second. But he did a presentation. At the end of his presentation, he said, I know this world is, he kind of went away from the SpaceX stuff, and he said, I know this, I think he said dark world or something, and he said, how everything's kind of messed up here. he said, I like to turn to the Bible. And so that, like, it, but I gotta play it, you guys. I gotta play it. Where is it here? I'm looking. I gotta find it. I don't remember what it was called or anything. I hope he's still got it up. I think it was after flight school documentary. No, I think maybe he took it down. I don't know. Let me just try typing something in. Oh. I don't know if it'll come up. Wrong presentation. Sorry guys, I didn't plan on doing this, but I just want to show you that these people are the same as us. Hey, here it is. Yes. It says Kevin presenting. Okay, good. I'm just going to skip to the end, kind of. And
to reach your potential at work, you need the right tools. At SHRM 20, HR professionals learn how to create better.
And by the way, I'll put a link to Kevin's, or to this channel. I'll put it in the pinned comment of my video when it's done. Okay, so he does a big presentation, a long presentation, or not super long, but I just want to go to the end and just let it play a little bit.
Well, okay, well, Rocket Lab, the Electron rocket, launches ride shares, okay? So a bunch of program, it's a lot of different mini games going on. And what's cool about the Electron rocket is that they called the going on in space. Everyone's in this room for a reason. Elon Musk said he has two reasons why he's into his companies and SpaceX and going to space. One is because he doesn't want humanity to put all their eggs in one basket. If something happens to the Earth, he wants people to be on other planets so we aren't all decimated and eliminated. Okay, I get that.
In other words, Elon Musk wants to prepare a place for us.
But he also said his reason for being so motivated to do space stuff is because he wants to be excited about the future. He wants to wake up and be like, oh, this is cool. And that's where I land. All right, I'm so inspired by this just because I think exploring the stars it's really cool. I don't think words are ever going to adequately describe why I'm so into it. But you can ask yourself why you are. And hopefully it's because you're excited and not because you're afraid. And there's just a lot of pretty messed up things going on right now on our dark planet. But we're all in it together. And I just want to close by saying no matter how dark it might get, for me personally, I always found that just, taking a step back, and for me, opening up the Bible just gives me hope for the future. So anyway, thank you guys so much for coming, and have a nice trip home.
So maybe that doesn't touch you guys the way it does to me, but it just shows me how do I even say it? 5 years ago, I could have said the same thing. But then now, I see someone else saying it, and I can see how Satan has twisted the thinking of people in this world to not understand at all what we're doing. Exploring space, looking for things for an exciting future? I don't understand. But yeah, pray for this guy. I think he's got a good heart. And you know what? I think the stuff we're talking about, the flat earth and stuff like that, it's like a really weird thing at first, but after just a few days of it going around in your mind, there are people like this guy or the people you would never expect to believe it suddenly believe it. They're like, oh, it's obvious. And it's because they are, I can't say why, but it's because of the Holy Ghost. It's because the Holy Spirit is exactly what Jesus said. He will guide you into all truth. So that's important to me. I'm going to go, I totally lost where I was, but okay, so what I'm trying to say though about this dragon, this one, right? Where did it go? Well, maybe I closed it. Anyway, I'm going to go to the chat here and say hi to everyone. Searching for Truth is here. Thomas Morgan's here. I probably missed a bunch of people, but I'm going to scroll up while it's trying to... Homestead, Wyoming is here. Good to see you guys. While it's trying to catch up, I'm going to scroll up and see if I can see any other names. So Allie Lyon's still here. Anthony Dickinson, Roderick. Roderick says, Effed Up World. Okay, here's a wild question. Does NASA or Elon have the wherewithal to make a peace deal, then break it in 3.5 years? If yes, what do you see it being? Okay, that one, a peace deal, you have to think about it maybe a little different, or you don't have to, but when I think of that, first of all, I'm just going to say that I don't exactly understand all of it, but I'm just thinking of contracts and things that NASA and SpaceX have made, because there's a little bit a new way of thinking that I've learned in the last few years is exactly what this video has turned into. Is we don't struggle against flesh and blood. We struggle against the evil spirits that are up in the sky. That's who is defiling mankind. That's who taught us to sin, taught us about all these wicked things we're doing. That's who taught us the sorcery. That's who taught us how to work with metals. Was that Azazel? Yeah. Let me grab my Book of Enoch here. Wow. Yeah. It's scary what the things that are happening. So yeah, Roderick, I can't really answer your question very well. Azazel. Let's talk about him for a second. Where is Azazel? Okay, so there was angels that came down. They were in all 200 who descended, just like SpaceX Dragon does. On the summit of Mount Hermon. Okay, and then it names them here in the Book of Enoch. And let's see. They did bad stuff. They had children that were giants, or I shouldn't even call them children. They had offspring that were giants. And those giants are still, there's evil spirits in the earth, or on the earth. But let's see here. Where is this? Oh, chapter 8, verse 1 in the Book of Enoch. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them. Okay, that's important to me, because that is what space exploration is all about, is finding the right combination of metals and materials and fuels and all these things to create thrust with lightweight metal in order to escape the bonds of Earth's surface. They say Earth's gravity, but it's not gravity. It's just the nature of Earth has an up and down, and we all understand that up and down very well. And when you go up, you're going into God's secret place, the darkness. And, oh, Ezekiel, I didn't get to go into that yet. Okay. It was Anthony that was talking about the heliocentric part, and I want to show you that is about the heliocentric. Just the thinking that the heliocentric model is an abomination to God. I think maybe it's in chapter 8. I think it's in chapter 8 of Ezekiel. Let's see. Oh, there's an image of jealousy in the entry of the temple. Oh, okay. I kind of got sidetracked like way long time ago, and I kind of got off on a different thing. I was talking about standing in his holy place. There would be an abomination of desolation standing in the holy place. Well, the holy place is that, maybe it's that darkness, or it's God's temple, and it's in heaven. All throughout the book of Revelation, it refers to the temple of God, which is in heaven. It says many times in Revelation. So this temple, I'm just trying to find this verse here, or this little section where he shows them abominations. Oh, okay. Let's start in verse 15 of Ezekiel 8. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house. Let me just go back here really quick. Abomination of desolation, standing in the holy place. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they were worshiping the sun toward the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger, and lo, they put the branch to their nose. Now, this is the scary verse. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet I will not hear them. Because right now, he's doing it right now. He's saying, hey, he's uttering his voice, and there is a message, there is a gospel to believe. And actually, it's been hidden since the world began. Because of, okay, I started out the video by saying Mars is not a place, it's an evil spirit. And I can show you that in the book of Enoch. Just to go over these things, I don't mind spending some time making videos longer if they have clear information in them out of the scriptures that's undeniable. So I'm going to read a few verses of something Enoch saw, starting in let's see. Let's just start at verse 11 here. And I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike towards the height and towards the depth. Excuse me. And beyond that abyss, okay, this is the place I'm talking about. Beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it, and there was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. He's describing space, you guys. You know how I know that? Because of the next verse, verse 13. And I saw there 7 stars, like great burning mountains. Where are the stars? Stars are in heaven, or in the firmament of heaven. That's where God placed them on the 4th day. Or he set them. What did it say? We're going to get the exact. Let's see, the 4th day. Okay. Sorry. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years. Let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, and give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Okay? It right here, God set them in the firmament of the heaven on day 4. Okay, now watch this. Enoch gives us some more details about this. Or it's actually Uriel. It's an angel that's taking Enoch through the heavens and showing him things. So he went to that. He saw beyond that abyss. He saw a horrible place. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. So this is clearly talking about the firmament of heaven. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising. So that was like, I guess, the evening of day 4 of creation. It was at the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And God was wroth with them and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years. So 7 stars that transgressed. And all the other stars. So we have 7 wandering stars. And then we have all the other stars that are doing their appointed, are coming forth at their appointed times. Those are all the ones that circle around Polaris. If you've seen the, let me just type it into here, star trails. This will help me kind of explain. Okay, when you look at the sky from anywhere, like if Beck from Oz is in here, she lives in Australia. And so let me find a couple different pictures here. Okay, so where I live in Minnesota, it's hard to tell. I think it's 47 degrees. And I'm not sure about that. But when I look at Polaris, it looks something like, oh, I probably shouldn't go to the site. Okay. It's up in the sky like that. It's like very high in the sky. Beck is so far away, so far to the south, she can't even see that star because it's too far away. It's gone down and gotten covered up by all the trees and all the buildings and all the little hills and mountains and things between me and Beck in Australia, because we live on a flat earth. So you're not going to see Polaris from the outer edges of the world. You just won't. But if you go towards the center, if you go towards the north, you're going to see that North Star, and you're going to see that all the stars go around it. And there's probably going to be people that want to argue and say, no, there's a southern pole, and all that information. That is not what you think. Let me go to another picture here. One of the first ones on here showed it quite well, I think. Where was that? Right here. Okay, do you see how perspective works? These stars at the bottom are not, okay, they're not doing a circle that way. They're actually doing a circle this way. The same as these ones up here. But they're so far away from you that they go down in the horizon. That's just how we see from anywhere on the earth. So if you kept going and kept going, what are you going to see? You're going to see, at some point, you're going to see the whole sky turning the opposite way. Anywhere, if you go, it's kind of like if I'm standing here and I look up at the ceiling. Let's say I wrote something on the ceiling. I wrote my name. What happens if I go to the other side of the room and look up at it? It's upside down. Okay? All this stuff that they try to say is physics and science. No, it's not. It's just misunderstanding, and God's laughing at that knowledge. Okay? So, star trails. All these stars go around Polaris. They do a circle around Polaris. Now, there are 7. Let me just, now remember that Earth is not a planet. Okay, so how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 planets. And why are they called planets? Because they're bigger? Or, I mean, they look bigger? No, they're called planets because of what they do. And their size, I guess. Or what they think their size is. But you can see here that when we look up planets, we see in the solar system, we see all these things. Okay? And what I'm here to tell you is that do not for 1 second believe that Mars is a place you're going to go, or that Mars is going to be a place where you're going to return samples from. Because I'll tell you what, NASA will get their samples. Did you guys see the game of baseball they had going on in space? I might have to go to that video now. I've been doing a screen share for a long time, and we got to go back to the video. Let's see, how do we get there? Right here? Okay, good, the sound's off. We got to watch this. Space baseball, or whatever they call it. So it picks up these samples and then it throws them on the ground. See, they're all laying all over the place. Oops. Okay, so where's the baseball game start? Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, so then they're going to send another rocket to pick them up. And that lander is going to send another rocket up from the surface of Mars. And then it's going to spit them out to this rendezvousing rocket that, look at this. Okay, it spits it out and it catches it going for a double play. Boom! Right at the Earth. You guys see that? The inning's over. Baseball. And then, so what I'm saying is, they'll get their samples. Just like they got moon rocks. And they will get their data just as they expect. Because planets are not places. They are evil spirits. Fallen angels. And I'll tell you what. If you're looking for data, fallen angels will give you data. They will make sure that your space station orbits just how it should. I have a video coming up with, who was it? Jeffrey Williams. Astronaut Jeffrey Williams. If I would have converted it, we could have just watched it, but he was on the space station. This is way back in like 2012 or 2010. And they were doing, what do they call it? They call it a burn. But they were going to fire some of the some of the thrusters on, I think it was like the Progress or the Soyuz, whatever capsule the Russians have, the Progress and the Soyuz that connect up to the space station. And those were going to fire their thrusters in order to lift the orbit, and they were going to, let's see, I can't remember the numbers he used. They were going to boost the orbit up a little higher so they would be a higher velocity. And he did an experiment while they fired the thrusters, and it was interesting. He had a camera, and he like got it floating, in one spot. I can't do that unless I use my CGI. Okay, I'll just put my hand down here like it's floating. Okay, so he's like this in the space station, and he was looking at the timer because they knew right when the thruster was going to go. And so he's got this thing sitting here floating, and when the thruster goes, he goes, okay, it's firing, and then you can see this thing start moving a little bit. The camera just starts moving on its own, and him and anything that's loose in the station. It's an interesting thing because it's strong delusion. It's not any part of any reality. It's made for people on Earth that have wicked imaginations and don't realize that they have wicked imaginations. I don't know why I'm looking here. Let's see. So, I think that was about all I really needed to say. We're in it. We're doing the bad stuff, and it's all these things that we've learned, all these rocket engines and things. This is what's going to destroy the Earth. Hey, Captain Flatty's in here, and I saw. Whoops! It always scrolls so fast. I think maybe I saw everybody. If I missed you, sorry. But Anthony says the Sefer calls the firmament expanse, which it could be looked at. I mean, I think that word is just fine too. Let me go back to Enoch 18, and we can look at what the firmament actually is. I don't know everything, but the firmament is mentioned here in chapter 18 of the book of Enoch. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of heaven. Now, here's a word similar is vaults of heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of heaven, of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw the end of the earth. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. Very interesting. So, let's see. Thomas Morgan said, oh, I just lost it. Where did that go? Something about a different version, taking something out. Let's see if I can find that. Oh boy. Grace Styles, Blood Saves, good to see you guys. Joseph Clement, good to see you, bro. Wow. Good thing I let it. Where's Tom? Oh, don't forget about the Sea of Glass. Good call, Thomas Morgan. Hi, Kiowa Ryder. Good to see you. If I said that right. Yeah, Kiowa Ryder. Michael J. Spencer says, anyone tried HBOT therapy? I have not. Not sure what that is. Allie Lyons says Ezekiel's Wheels. Anthony Dickens says Rob Skiba versus Robert Sungenis debate. Rob Skiba was spot on, perfect on his debate, and I was not being biased in any way when I watched that vid. In fact, I tried to prove Skiba wrong. You know what, Anthony? Guess what? I was in the room for that debate. It was good. And I'd have to agree with you. Rob was right on. And actually, if you guys haven't watched that, try to go watch that. It was Denver Flat Earth International Conference. Or I'm sure Rob's got it on his channel. Maybe, Anthony, if you see it, or if you know where it is, drop a link or something. Rob Skiba prepared for a debate, and Sanginis just did not. And it was quite obvious. But at the same time, it was like Robert, or was that his name, Rob Sanginis? Or whatever his name was. Yeah, Robert Sanginis. He's a nice guy. And, I don't know how people can sit in a room talking with a guy like Rob Skiba and sit and deny the scriptures. And it's hard to watch. It really is. Let's see here. Thomas Morgan says, I still think Mars has something to do with wormwood. It says a great stone will be cast from heaven and it will turn the water red. What do they call the Mars? The red planet. Yep. That's a good point. And here's another thing about the dragon. The one that John saw in Revelation 12 was a red dragon. And that's interesting because let me show you. Or I'm not doing a screen share, but I gotta find out where that's at. I'm just gonna show you one more thing. And maybe you guys have seen this. SpaceX Red Dragon was a mission to Mars, or it was a planned mission to Mars, but they ended up working on Starship. But if we just go to Wikipedia, it's that capsule. And it was supposed to ride on a Falcon Heavy rocket, which is 3 Falcon 9 rockets. He subdued 3 kings. Okay, maybe it's not going to show up. It's taking a while. So the rocket, there we go. Red Dragon was a 2011 to 2017 concept for using an uncrewed SpaceX Dragon 2 capsule excuse me for a low-cost Mars lander missions to be launched using Falcon Heavy rockets. Let's look at Falcon Heavy rockets. The Falcon Heavy is a partially reusable heavy lift launch vehicle. Oh, you guys will like this. This is another thing that Second Ezra, that Ezra saw this and he called it whenever Ezra wrote Second Ezra's a long time ago. He called this, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is like Media, Persia, and Grecia, or whatever. These are the kings of the earth. These are the spirits of the kings of the Medes. I got to go to Jeremiah 51 and read verse 11 for you guys. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, I think it looks like you are. Verse 11 or 12, I can't remember. It's just thinking for a second. It says the same thing that it says in Revelation 17 verse 17 about, wow, it's taking a minute. It's probably going to do the thing where it says not responding. And yeah, I'm not even signed into my YouTube account right now. How does that work? How do I do a live stream under a different... See how it just says Joe up in the corner there? That's weird. Or maybe that's right. I don't know. I think I'm not even on my account. Anyway, look what it says here. Oh, come on. I try not to get impatient, but I do anyway. Verse 11, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his device against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. And I'll just go grab my Bible to read Revelation 17 verse 17. It's basically saying the same thing. It says, For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. It's the vengeance of his temple. Where's God's temple? It's in heaven. That's up in the sky. A lot of people aren't realizing that. Okay. And second Esdras, let's look at something else that it says. Okay, where is it? Okay, look at this. The middle head, okay, he saw an eagle. Okay, this was an eagle with all those wings and the opposing wings. Okay, it says the middle head was larger than the other heads, but it was also at rest with them. Let me just show you this picture. Okay, just picture like a, you know, before there was any kind of thing like any kind of motors or any kind of engines or anything like that, and you see this thing, you might describe it as an eagle. You might. But you might not. I'm just saying you might. But there's a reason why. Because Ezra goes into greater detail. Let's listen. I kept looking as I saw the eagle flying with its wings to rule over the earth and over those who lived on the earth. I saw how everything under heaven was made to submit to it, and no one opposed it, not a single creature that lives on the earth. I looked and saw the eagle rise on its talons and call out to its wings. Okay, let's see here. I'm looking for a specific part. So it talks about the wings and all this. But let's see here. I'm going to find it because I think it's important to point out these things, how specific that Ezra was when the Lord showed him this. Because it talks about those two heads. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, I'm going to start in verse 29. So it's talking about the wings, and it says, and while they were making their plans, one of the heads that had been at rest, the one in the middle, woke up. So I'm going to show you this again. The one in the middle woke up. And this one was bigger than the other two heads. I saw how it formed a partnership with the other two heads. Okay. After all this, I watched as the middle head, just like the wings, suddenly disappeared. I gotta show you guys something. Let's look at a video. Because that's exactly what happened on the Falcon Heavy launch. They lost the center booster. They landed the sides and they lost the center booster. It disappeared into the ocean. Just like Ezra saw. He watched this, okay? And there's another, actually, before I do that, there's another part in the interpretation. I'm just trying to find it. I'll go to the next chapter, because I don't think I saw it here. When the Lord interprets it for him, he tells him a little more about it. Okay, well, first of all, it's the same thing he showed in a vision to your brother Daniel, the fourth kingdom, but it was interpreted a different way. Okay, remember the 12 dragon missions and the 8 Cygnus missions? Okay, I'm going to start in verse 14 of chapter 12 in 2nd Esdras. 12 kings will rule in it, one after the other. Notice how it said kings? People who think that this is symbolic don't, because remember the horns, the 10 horns are the kings. So pay attention. People like Adam Fink and just about so many people that come against me. 12 kings will rule in it, one after the other. Okay, and then this is the interpretation of the 12 wings you saw. I'm just trying to find specific part. Let's see. Okay. As for the fact that you saw 8 little wings clinging to its wings, this is the interpretation. 8 kings will arise in it. What does the word arise mean? Let's search it out on Google. Oh. Okay, there's like a lot of arise. Okay. Emerge, become apparent, come to light, make an appearance, appear. Formal or literary is get or stand up. Okay? Jump up, leap up, rise, stand up. It has to do with up. Okay. But right here, this is the Falcon Heavy right here. And look what it says about the Falcon Heavy. In the last period, the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and he will renew many things in it, and they will rule the earth, and greatly oppress those who dwell on it, more than all the rest who were before them. Therefore they are called the heads of the eagle, because they will sum up its acts of impiety and complete its last deeds. As for your seeing the big head disappear, one of the kings will die on his bed. Okay, I'm going to show you that in a video. Okay, good. I was showing you desktop. Let me see if I can find a video. Actually, I know I can find it. I have it. I'm going to find it. Just might take me a second. Okay. The Falcon Heavy launch. I gotta find it. It's exactly what happened. The middle one crashed into the ocean. And I'm just looking through here. Sorry, I should have been like more ready for this, but I you know what, like I didn't plan on talking about this really. It just happens. So I'm not in the right place to find that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that. Basically, I can just go to Google Images or actually I can just, let me cancel that. Let me grab, let me grab an image, because I know I can find an image, and then I can just use that to explain SpaceX stuff. Where are you? Okay. Well, here's an image that I made a while back. The God of Forces. Okay, that's the Falcon Heavy. It's three of the Daniel 7 verse 7 beasts. The ones with great iron teeth. I heard Mikey Jenny, who's a nice guy and everything, but I heard him talking again on Kingdom in Context. That Sean Griffin, I think is his name. Sean, there's something you don't understand. And it's an odd thing that you would call your channel Kingdom in Context. You don't know what that word means, apparently. Because these things were visions that Daniel and Ezra and John saw with their eyes, and they described what they saw, and then the Lord or an angel or whoever told them what it was that they saw. It was the spirit of the kings of the Medes, Media, Persia. So you guys all throw out everything that John and Daniel and Ezra tell us that they saw, so that you can talk about kings of armies, of countries, of nations. But that's not what they are. They're horns. They're rockets. And for those of you who doubt that, go to Enoch 57, go to Zechariah 5, go go to Revelation 13, go to Revelation 12. See, there's a problem. I'm just going to go on a little rant here for a moment. Just a little one. There's a problem with Christians today, and they think that the Bible is symbolic or something, when the Bible's just a collection of things that guys wrote down when they had the Holy Spirit tell them to write something down, or the Word of God came to them and told them to write something down, or gave them the words to write. So it's not, don't add symbolic meanings to things that aren't there. People say horns represent something or other. Like, okay, good luck trying to understand. You're not even listening to what the prophets gave us their testimony about. Thomas Morgan had said this and reminded me of it. A way to think about this, a way to think about these visions that Daniel and I don't know why I'm showing you that still, sorry. I'll try to find a video while I'm saying this. A way to think about this is pretend you're in a room that has one window that's about this big. So when you put your head up to it, nobody else can see out the window, okay? And Daniel and John and Ezra, or whoever, mostly Daniel and John, they're looking out this window and they're like, whoa, I'm seeing something. You're back in the room and you're like, what? I want to see, but you can't see out the window because their head's covering up the window. They're the only ones that can see out of the window. So you say, what is it? What are you seeing? And then they're going to describe it to you. I see a beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. How can someone come up with the United Nations or the church or the Vatican from that? It's just garbage. Now, I'm not saying that these people studying this are garbage. I'm saying they need to realize that truth is being revealed by the Holy Spirit in this world. And it's such a ridiculous thing to throw out what the guy in the window is saying. He's the only, I'm voguing or whatever. He's the only one. Like, I wish I had like a little frame so I could just hold it up to my head. If someone, another way to look at it is, say you're driving in traffic, intense traffic, and you have a passenger in the car, and so you're like driving, you're concentrating on the road. There's cars, surrounding you and in front of you and behind you, and it's bumper to bumper, and you don't want to crash. So you're driving very carefully, and your passenger says, "Whoa, what's that on? You see that out to the right?" And I'm like, you try to look, but you're like, I'm driving. I really can't look over there. What is it? What do you see? And then they'll tell you. And if they said, a car just drove into the river, you'd get a mental picture in your mind of a car driving into the river or crashing into the river. But you're not going to get a mental picture of an ice cream cone or a glass of milk. You're not going to be thinking about that. You're going to be thinking about what your passengers just told you. Said, like if they said, there's a red car that just crashed. You're going to be thinking about a red car that just crashed. Why would you change it? Why would you think you have a better story than the guy in the seat next to you that's actually looking at it and describing it? So that's how I look at these visions. And so when it says he had 10 horns, and then when there's an interpretation that says the 10 horns are 10 kings that shall arise out of the earth, or the 4, or these great beasts, which are 4, are 4 kings, which shall arise out of the earth. Okay, why do you skip the part that says, the part of the interpretation that tells you they're going to arise out of the earth? And you stick with, oh, there's an army of men or something. So hopefully people start to listen to what the prophets, their testimony that they gave us, because actually the book of Revelation is the testimony of Jesus Christ. And John was witness to the word of God, the revelation of Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you that we have a copy of it, and it's flawless. The King James Version, or just about, like, it's flawless. There's obviously things that we can say, oh, well, I would have maybe said that different. I would have translated that different, or whatever. But we're men. We're not perfect. We're you know, the people who wrote the King James, I'm sure they did their best. And I'm sure they did their best for the time when they wrote it. So there are these aspects to the scriptures. So, yeah. Don't replace things with, oh, this represents this, because you're never going to you're not listening to their testimony. That's what I would have to say. You haven't heard their testimony if you don't realize that they saw little horns flying up to the heavens. They saw beasts that were flying up there. And they saw them making the stars come down. Or the dragon's tail making the stars, or casting a third of the stars down. And then, Daniel saw this. John saw this. I don't know if Ezra saw the stars falling. But yeah, it's not my story. I just know that it's becoming understandable for anyone if they're paying attention to what's actually written. I saw the name Carl Roberts, but my chat's going all over the place. Am I doing a screen share? What am I doing here? Oh, I got that video playing of the silliness on Mars. My chat. Hey, Bruce Hansen, I see Lori Tillman. I thought I saw Carl Roberts, and it went choom. It went flying by, so I don't know if it's up or down. See, Bruce Hansen, oh, the eagle, the Holy Roman Empire. Makes no sense what you're saying there. 0 sense. First of all, the Holy Roman Empire, or I think I know what you're saying. You're saying, let me go to Daniel 2. Let me go to Daniel 2 really quick, just to give you my opinion on something. People are taking Daniel 2, which is Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and they are mixing that with Daniel's visions of the time of the end. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar's dream was not of the time of the end. It was of the, I think, between the time when he had the dream and the end. It was a long vision of what would happen. And so that's maybe what you're talking, Bruce, about the Roman Empire. Because there are, I'm not going to read Daniel 2, but the things in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, like, came to pass in kingdoms of men on the earth. But Daniel 7 and Daniel 8 are both visions of the end of days, and that's very important. And I can I don't remember which verse. Maybe I got it highlighted in my Bible. In Daniel 7 and 8, he hears saints talking about the 2,300 days that the sanctuary would be trodden underfoot. So, in my opinion, is that he heard us talking about this. That's in Daniel 8, verse 20 or something. Or no, it's not 20. It's before that, I think. Oh, yeah. Verse 13 in Daniel 8. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation? This is what Jesus was talking about in Matthew 24. To give both the sanctuary and the host of heaven, to be trodden under foot. Remember in Ezekiel 7, God, I'm going to sneeze, you guys. He said, I think I'm going to sneeze, but I'm going to go to Ezekiel real quick while I'm doing that. While I'm trying not to sneeze. Ezekiel 7, verse 22 says, My face will I also turn, or will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. That's the sanctuary being trodden underfoot. And the host of heaven. Okay? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it came to pass that when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, okay, that's not the part I was looking for. The angel tells him here, okay, well, in Daniel 8, verse 26, And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true, wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. Right here, verse 19. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed, the end shall be. So, Daniel 7 and 8 are talking about the end. Daniel 2 is talking about from that time of Nebuchadnezzar's dream until the end. Like a big time period of time. And I think it's right on too. But I think that's about. Hey, Davey313, good to see you. That's one problem with me with the chat, or when I'm going back and forth, because the chat, it's hard. Hey, Kent Gear, good to see you, and Mr. Unite for the children. And Carl Roberts, good to see you. Let's see here. And Carl Roberts, good luck with that attitude there. They are not rockets. Space is a hoax. Read Ezekiel 7. Believe your Bible. Yeah. I won't comment too much about that. I'm just seeing what we got. The 10 horns are kings, not rockets. Yeah, they're kings. They're kings that shall arise out of the earth. Do you know what that means? What does it mean to arise out of the earth? I'm just checking out some of the comments. You need to listen to the testimony of John and Daniel, and then you'll understand. You haven't heard their testimony yet. And you don't believe Ezekiel 7. You don't believe the things. Hey, clouds behind the sun, good to see you. Yeah, I'm just going to call out your unbelief, Carl. The secret place of God in Ezekiel is not space. Well, it sure is. Well, it's the darkness. It's darkness. That's very important. Yeah, God is the darkness is under God's feet. So God's above that, in his throne. So I'm just checking out some of my comments are still like trying to catch up. I think they're finally catching up. So anyway, yeah, just think about the darkness. Where is darkness? It's the night. It's the night. darkness. So, let's see. Carl Roberts says, false doctrine. Says, you're changing the word of God to support your false doctrine. Specifically what verse? Tell me. Because I'll definitely review it and explain to you that I'm not changing anything. I'm just reading it. Alrighty. Yeah, so that was this Mars mission's a joke. Mars baseball. It's gonna it's gonna spit out the little Mars sample, and then another satellite's gonna come by and be like, catch it like a baseball catcher, and he's gonna like relay it to third base, and it'll be successful. You know it. Everything you quote from it. Carl Roberts, you're one of them people that gets banned on a channel. Because tell me what verse. What verse? And okay, Daniel 7:23. Sweet. Is that the one that says the 10 horns are 10 kings? Or is it a different one? Sorry. Daniel 7:23. Because I'll explain to you exactly why I say the things I say. It says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. That is SpaceX, the fourth kingdom. And go to Daniel 7 verse 7. There's a reason why I say that. Daniel 7 verse 7 is where Daniel sees that fourth beast. And it says, after this I saw in the night visions. He saw this. It says, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly. It had great iron teeth. Okay, so I just got to ask this, Carl, or anybody, really. What are the great iron teeth on whatever you think that the beast is, the fourth kingdom? What are the iron teeth? Because I'll show you the iron teeth that I think it's talking about. Let's just I might have to do a screen share. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to find it on my computer. Or wait, yeah, I will. I know where it is. Where do I go? Okay, let me go to this, effects, image, overlay, browse. Takes a second, sorry. The great iron teeth, because remember Daniel said he saw this. He saw it. So I'm going to show you what I believe he saw with his eyes. Oh, here's a picture of it. The Falcon 9 rocket has 4 of these grid fins. Uh-oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys. This is not the best image. Let me actually, maybe that was because I was supposed to find a better image, that I clicked the wrong button, because that isn't the best image. But well, here's a CGI image but it you'll get the point. Hopefully this works. Okay, this is the Falcon Heavy, which is 3 kings. Remember, he subdued 3 kings. What verse is that in? I don't remember which verse that's in. I'll have to find that later. Great iron teeth. Okay, those grid fins, that's what steer it down back to land where it's supposed to land. Okay. And they're like 4 foot by 4 foot. They're huge. They're monstrous, big, huge grid fins. So that isn't the best image, but I'll show you an actual image of them, or of one of them, that's actually on the, just a picture. I probably could have showed you a video of that too. But this, I don't know why it's not showing up. Should be there, but it's not. So I don't know what's going on. That's what I think the iron teeth are. And then it says, I'll continue in Daniel 7 verse 7, the fourth beast. And then it says, it devoured and brake in pieces. So it broke in pieces. Well, that's exactly what happens in a rocket launch. Let's go back to, or I'm not doing a screen share. Okay, let's see here. I'll see if I can get a video of this, but might be a stretch. Stage separation. It breaks in pieces, quite clearly breaks in pieces. Let's see, dragon. Working on it. It's just really slow, my computer. Sorry, guys. Here's a fast. This is something you might want to check out, Carl Roberts, because you keep saying that rockets are whatever you're saying, and if you actually pay attention, this is just a really fast time lapse of a dragon launch, and you're gonna watch it go up and break into pieces, stamp the residue with the feet of it. There it broke into pieces, and now it's making fire come back down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and you're watching it. So I'm not twisting anything in the Bible. I'm just saying, hey, look, I'm observing something that Daniel said he observed. See those great iron teeth? Just, it showed them for briefly. That's not the best video. I'll find something else really quick, because they have animations of this stuff, and I have lots of videos and things, but here, let's watch an animation. Let's see. Okay, so remember, John beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. What does it mean to come up out of the earth? Does the Roman Catholic Church come up out of the earth? Does it break into pieces? Does it have great iron teeth? Does it stamp the residue at the feet of it? No, but a rocket sure does. And these great beasts are kings, Daniel 7 verse 17, that shall arise out of the earth. They're all arising out of the earth. The first one was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man. Okay, now you're going to see the grid fins. You're going to see the great iron teeth now. Should be any second. Oh, there's fire coming down from heaven right there. There's the great iron teeth. Daniel and John, well, Daniel, we're talking about in Daniel. So in Daniel 7 verse 23, the one that Robert was mentioning, when it says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. You know what? It also says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. Arise means to go up. And another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Let me grab a video of that. or I showed you a picture of it, but I don't know if I can find a video. I haven't found it yet, but the Falcon Heavy has 3 Falcon 9 boosters, and it subdued 3 kings. Okay, now here's the other part, is when it says rule over the world, rule over the earth, you're not thinking about it maybe in the right way. Some of you are, but some of you aren't, because we're talking about, it's all about belief. That's what we're talking about, faith. And look at, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. I see a lot of them in the chat, I think, that are worn out. And what else does it say? Daniel 7 verse 21, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came. So that's why I don't expect many of you to understand this until the Lord comes. But I'm going to keep saying it because I understand it. So, it's not anything that I did. It's something that the Lord did. Let's see here. I have a video here called Shall Arise Out of the Earth. Let's watch it. Just for fun. Whoops, sound out. Let me start that over.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man.
I gotta point it out, if you guys can't hear these words and understand that we're about to watch some guy named Elon Musk who's talking about making another world. You know how God created the world? Well, Elon Musk is saying that he's going to create another world for a civilization to live on. And he's about to crawl into a little horn and speak some great things, some blasphemous things. Pay attention.
And a mouth speaking great things. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. These great beasts which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth, shall arise out of the earth, shall arise out of the earth, shall arise out of the earth.
Shall arise out of the earth. Back to the chat, and then I'm gonna head out of here, I think. See, I don't know if you stuck around, Carl, or anybody, but there's a reason why I say the things I'm saying, and it's because the Lord showed me something by his Spirit. See, look at that. He says the Iron Teeth was the Roman army. So, false, Carl. The Iron Teeth was not the Roman army, because the Roman army does not arise out of the earth. Sorry. These great beasts which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. So the Roman army or whatever did not arise out of the earth. The kingdom broke in pieces, not a rocket. Man, Carl Roberts, you just hate the word of God, don't you? I'm pretty much done with Carl Roberts. So because he denies what's written in here, even when it's explained to him. And even when he says rockets or space is a hoax, he says, and he doesn't understand that the Bible is even agreeing with him, saying that these things deceived those who dwell on the earth. That's why you attack it. No, you hate it. Wow. Bye, Carl. Sorry. I don't like people that are doing that. So, have fun, Carl. Make a expose video about me. Why don't you? Expose me and my misuse of the scriptures and my twisting of the scriptures. I encourage you to, because maybe you'll learn something about the reasons why I'm saying some of these things. But yeah. Anyway, that was fun. Yeah, I agree with Allie Lyons. Carl needs to ask for eyes to see, because there's a lot of other people who can see this problem. I just had to get rid of his comments, Anthony. Hope you understand. I think you do. So yeah, Carl does need a hug, Kent Gert. I agree. Carl needs a hug, and he needs to realize that we're living in the end of days, and that the Word of God is alive. And when we look into the world that we live in, I agree with Roderick. He's not wicked. He's not wicked. He's not trying to be wicked or something, but he comes across as someone who denies the Word of God, or rejects it, I guess. Yes, pray for Carl. Thank you, Davey313. That's a good idea. And it's not like we're praying for Carl like a pity party. We're just saying, Carl, you can ask Jesus to show you what he's shown us. That's what I would do. I would say, why are these people saying this? Show it to me in your word, if it's true. And then take it up with God. Take it up with the Word of God. I pointed out several things to Carl, like every one of those beasts is lifted up from the earth, arise out of the earth. Let's see here. Coming up out of the earth, making fire come down from heaven. Daniel 7 verse 6, it had dominion of the host of heaven, or it was given dominion. These words have specific meanings. You know, it was lifted up from the earth. It raised itself up on one side and had 3 ribs in the mouth of it. That's the Russian Soyuz. The feet of a bear. There's a story happening here. And I think a lot of people aren't going to understand it, though. And so there are a lot of people that are going to feel like Carl and be like, you're misusing the Word of God, or you're twisting it. But that's when they have to be careful, because if I was twisting it, then why is it possible for me to point out all these things that he's obviously not thought about before? The kingdom, the fourth kingdom, is not a kingdom of men. It is the spirits of the kings of the Medes, the princes in the book of Daniel. That you remember, Michael is going to deliver the children of Israel, and he's going to have to do it himself because, Gabriel is fighting with the prince of Persia. So what I'm saying is that this is fallen angel stuff. It is not men. So if you think the Vatican's all big and bad, go ahead. But the Vatican doesn't have any type of power in the way that these kings have power. the UN doesn't have any kind of power. There's no government, like an army government, that type of, like a group of people does not have this kind of power. We're talking about fallen angels. And that's what I was talking about in Ephesians, which we're going to finish up really quick. Because remember we went to Bible Hub to look up the Greek words a little bit. Well, I just wanted to point this out. We don't struggle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers. What does that mean? Let's just look at that word. Cosmocrator. It says a ruler of this world, ruler of this world, as asserting its independence of God. Used of the angelic or demonic powers controlling the sublunary world. Strong's exhaustive, where's Strong's? There we go. I like Strong's exhaustive concordance. A world ruler, an epithet of Satan. Oops, back a page. But it says the cosmic powers of the darkness. Darkness. 4655. Skodos. Darkness, either physical or moral. And there's kind of like two different types of darkness. There's literal darkness. It says shadiness, obscurity, darkness. And this darkness that this is talking about is both. Against the spiritual forces, we'll just look up this word really quick. Pneumatikos, or whatever. Spiritual. Strong's exhaustive says non-carnal. A spirit, supernatural, regenerate, religious, spiritual. Okay. And look what it says. Of evil in the heavenly realms. Where's the heavenly realms? Heavenly, celestial, in the heavenly sphere. The sphere of spiritual activities. Met, divine, spiritual. Celestial, heavenly, high. Above the sky. Okay, so I think it's clear that our the ruler of the darkness of this world in 2020 is SpaceX Dragon. And that's how, according to John in Revelation 12, and it's like kind of scary to think about these things, but John said it was Satan that he saw up in heaven, and he called it a red dragon. And it was fighting with Michael and his angels. So that's all really real stuff that's happening. And people like Carl Roberts, and there's a million people like him that they would rather fight against this than just hear the words and think about it. But there's a problem with these people. And this is, like, I'm not trying to insult anyone, because I have people that I love and care about that do this. But when John says that there's a dragon flying in heaven, and it's Satan, the devil, people that refuse to consider the things that John said that he saw up in heaven and not realize how serious these things are, they're the most irresponsible watchmen. If they're not watchmen. They're failures if they're watchmen. Because the signs and seasons and days and years of the heavens are chiming off. There's the Lord showing us things using the stars, the sun and the moon, and the things happening up in the sky. And we know that the four winds are the pillars of the heaven. They hold the heaven up. So when there's a battle up there, what do you think Satan's going to attack? What is he going to do He's going to destroy the world. He's going to start that on fire, though, and he doesn't know that. Well, I think maybe he knows it, but I don't think he knows the details of it. I think it's just spiritual things causing men to do things that end up destroying the world and starting that darkness on fire that'll burn eternally. And so going to space, I don't know if I would. Actually, I would not even. It's bad. It's the most wicked thing that men have ever done. And it's going to end the world. Go to Enoch 57. Enoch saw men riding on wagons. And it was the noise of the wagons that made the sky roll back, made the heavens quake. So, there you go. And I could drag on forever. I've been going like 2 hours now. So, thank you guys. Hey, I see Randy Cochran. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Kent Girk says, I don't need a wrench. You will just throw it at me. Oh, I missed it. That's funny. No, Kent, I could give you a wrench. I think most everybody gets a wrench usually. After they come and pop in a couple times. Like, you'll notice that guys like Carl didn't get a wrench. I've already seen. You know what it is? If I see someone, like, I don't even have to agree with some. Like, let's say Kent, who is now a moderator. Let's say Kent and I totally disagree about this rocket thing, like Carl and me. I'm not gonna insult you, Kent. I'm not. I'm gonna try to show you. Hey, Joey Rocha. Okay, Joey Rocha pops in and he doesn't have a wrench, and that's just because of some of his recent. It's nothing between me and Joey Rocha. I love Joey Rocha. I'm just saying that some of the things he's been saying are controversial, and I just wanted to step away from that. And I know Joey understands, because Joey's a flat earth hero. So, but yeah, we were just talking about wrenches. But yeah, that's the thing, is that I'm not going to insult Kent, and all I would ask is that Kent doesn't insult me, or basically, not listen at all, or not, I don't expect anyone to like believe me. I don't care if anyone believes me. That's why I get this out the whole time. That's why I do screen shares with the scripture, because I got nothing to say. I'm just a dirty, grubby carpenter that swings a hammer and whatever comes along to do that. Like, there's nothing about Joe that anybody should be interested in. It's about what Joe says, but you have to weigh that out on your own. But the things that I'm saying, I'm reading out of here, and I'm seeing in the world. So that's what it's all about. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you guys hanging and chatting. I love going after the video and reading through the chat, because I missed like the whole thing. Yeah, I know Thomas Morgan, he caught that. I've always noticed that Kent is my pops. He always calls Kent pops. Oh, Lori, how you doing? I'm gonna add you a moderator, and Joey Rocha too. I don't know why I did that, Joey. You know what I'm talking about. But I've probably said similar things, maybe less graphic. And that's, Joey will know what I'm talking about, or not graphic, but less uncensored. I don't know what the right word is, but anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna head out of here, guys. Thanks, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and share it, or a thumbs up, or whatever. I don't know whatever. I'm just glad that you guys are here, and have an ear. Awesome. Peace, Roderick. Good to see you again. Of course, you were first. Allie was second. And then I like that how Bob from Globebusters, no matter what time he comes into any chat, he goes first. Bob gives me, and so I always tell Bob, you better be wearing your lab coat. I don't know why, but I like Bob. All right, guys, have a good one.